10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio. Watch out!
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined as always by the technician Chris Aceto on this December 9th, 2019 evening. And Chris, we are into the month of December. I think we might be done with the contest season finally.
Well, I don't think it ever ends.
It seems that way. This was a long year.
Yeah.
Very long.
And it's getting dark now in Maine in the afternoon.
Florida too, but it's still warm though, so we don't really care. No, but I do notice that it kind of gets dark really early now. December 14th, Battle of Texas.
There you go. That's right. It's a classic show. I got two guys in it. There we go.
Sheila Brown.
Oh, I didn't know it's Sheila Brown's
She's
show.
Promoting it, yeah, and Freddie Nadeau.
Sheila came up and stayed in my town years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she came up to help somebody put together a posing routine.
Okay.
And anyhow, and I remember going to the gym to see Sheila train.
Right.
And Sheila is a bad ass trainer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
One of the best posers, too.
Well, if you think her posing is, like, good, her training, I mean, she's, like, heavy. She can smoke anyone in the gym.
Really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, very hard, very heavy, very strict, very fast trained. Everything. It's everything you want.
Classic physique, bikini, and bikini masters. Oof. So who's in this classic? You got to have someone in the lineup, right?
Yeah, I got...
Is Jason doing this?
No, he's going to go into open.
Oh, really? He's moving up?
Yeah, he's skipping from classic past the 212 and probably into open. Doesn't it sound funny? People say, oh, you'll see.
Good.
He'll be open.
Good event. That's next year.
Yeah, but he's already like 240, in pretty good shape, 248. And he used to have to get down to 93. Think of that.
You know, a lot of guys did classic because they could make the weight, and that's not necessarily a good reason to do classic.
Well, he couldn't the weight. He just,
right. But you know what I mean. I mean, you sucked what's his name down 25 pounds to make classic. That he wasn't a classic bodybuilder.
No, I sucked. That was Reagan, and I sucked Henry Pierre down.
Yeah, that's true.
Over a 16-week period of like 58 pounds, and there wasn't even much muscle to lose.
No, but he really looked good though as a classic guy. But you know what I'm saying? Some guys just have, like, Bumstead is just a natural classic guy. I mean, he doesn't have to really work too hard to make the weight class. Yeah. He looks huge compared to, like, but he fits in because his structure, and he's tall. So that's even a Breon Ansley, that's like a classic guy. They don't need to move up. They're in the right class.
Yeah, I agree.
Some of these guys, I just burped.
It's okay. We're not going to put a
I ate an apple. I was just eating an apple. I'm into Honey Crisp apples all of a sudden. Do they grow those in Maine?
We have Maine apples. We eat them like they cost like pennies because nobody buys them.
They're like crab apples at the ones in Maine, aren't they? They're like the ones.
No, we have apples in Maine.
Oh, they do? Oh,
yeah, they're delicious. I don't know what they're called. Maine apples.
Honey Crisp. That's the best apple.
Up until the tariffs, it was cheaper to buy the Chinese apples. I'm serious. Than the apples that grow 10 minutes up the street from me.
Speaking of China, I've been getting a lot of my minions contacting me and telling me now that they've outlawed, making in China the steroids, I guess, and the production of the raw materials. You know, all the underground labs get the raw materials from China sent in here, and evidently that's it's going to be cut off. I mean, now it's legally being done in China. I'm sure it will be illegally done in China after that, but obviously that should affect the price, right? Because, I mean, I'm an economics guy, but I know when the supply dwindles and the demand is high, the price goes high, right?
That's all you have to. That's probably 9/10 of business, supply and demand.
Yeah, right. Now it's cheaper because there's a lot of supply and the demand's always high for steroids, but it's pretty easy to get it. So pretty much anyone can get it and make their own if they really wanted to. But now it's going to be a lot more difficult. Matter of fact, I even got an email from. I always find it amusing that these lunatics who sell steroids online, like
They email you. Yeah,
I got emails and basically telling me laying out the whole game plan. Hey, look, this is what's going on. They're going to be making steroids illegal in China, and you better buy up a lot of stuff right now. I have a good supply of it. He's like, but after the rest of the year, I might not be able to get it anymore, or at least it's going to be a lot more expensive. So stock up now, which I found pretty funny, which makes sense. It's pretty logical. But I don't know if I'd put it in an email and mass send it out to everyone,
Well, how are you going to track them down in China, I guess?
No,
Who's
these people, but they're not in China. This is a guy he's a steroid dealer in the U.S.
Oh,
he's like a dealer.
I know, but I want to professionalize his dealership and call him a broker.
You know what though? There's a guy. There's a lot of guys. I won't name names, but there's a guy in jail now who is doing this for
What's his
years.
name?
I'm not going to say it,
okay.
But it doesn't matter. But the fact that he didn't think
people would love to know who you're talking about.
Well, they probably do. Half the people have it. But the point is, these people think that they're never going to get caught doing it. I don't even know. I can't even imagine. Look, we all sold steroids at some point.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you got a bottle of something and gave it to a friend of yours at some point in time and didn't think.
Not me. No, go ahead.
I'm not going to go there. But my point is that, you do back in the 90s. You do this. There's no paper trail on the computer where they can actually see every email and text you sent. You made a phone call from a cell phone, from a payphone, right? Back in the day.
I guess
I'll meet you at the gym, and I'll get you, your stuff, or you'll sell your stuff. Nowadays, these guys, you're just waiting to get caught. It's really not very hard to get caught. If they want to get you, they can easily take your computer.
Well, maybe they'll bang the guru, but go ahead.
No, my point is that it's very, very easy to get in trouble if the Fed go after you nowadays, because there's such a paper trail, or digital trail as Blackman would say. And then these guys send out these mass emails. Did they think they just disappear into the void somewhere?
No, when you hit delete, they go away, right?
They never go away. That's the problem. They never go away. So, but it'll be interesting to see, because I think the availability of the raw materials from China was a good thing for bodybuilders, because it gave them access to it. The problem was there was no quality control in it. So you don't know what you're really getting, if it is full strength, if it's really what it says it is. A lot of times it isn't. That's why we sell 1 million of those Roy test kits on my Dave Palumbo site. People want to see what they're using. The problem also is are they putting the right strength in there of the stuff? So I would love to go back to legitimate laboratories making the stuff and just get it illicitly like everyone else did back in the day, right? When you used Winstrol, what'd you use? You used Ambon Winstrol as Winstrol V. They were made by real, Winstrol producers.
Yeah, then people started using Armor All. Remember that?
Well, that's when people were doing fake stuff and stuff like that, trying to be.
I hope the apples that I'm eating from China, as opposed to 10 minutes up the street from my house, are real.
When you used, more or less, testosterone, and when Oscar had all the steroids testosterone, it was testosterone. It was in a bottle, it was made by a legitimate American pharmacy. People got good results from it because of it, And nowadays it's like, Joe the barber is making it in his back of his barbershop there and giving it to, Pete the man who on the side sells stuff to the local gym rat guy. And he says, and the local gym rat guy thinks he got it from some legitimate lab, but it was really being made by, the post guy and the other guy. So I don't know. It's a scary thing out there, because you really don't know what you're putting in your body. So it's a shame. I'm looking at now. I was walking at the. They had a festival of lights here in Cape Coral, where they had the Christmas tree light.
Uh-huh.
Which is not quite as dramatic as it would be in New York City, because it's warm here, but that's okay. So we were walking around.
What's the temperature got to do with it?
No, I don't know.
Just the lights, right?
Yeah, I guess so. So we were walking around with the kids and everything like that, and they had a booth, booth set up in the street. One of the booths was medical marijuana, And I find that fascinating because, like 20 years ago, you can't sell marijuana legal marijuana right in the street.
Yeah.
And you certainly couldn't buy a card that would give you, the ability to go buy marijuana legally. So I'm thinking to myself, why not have a steroid, legal steroid card, medical steroid, you get a card.
TRT. Was it THT?
Yeah, whatever it is.
Hormone
You
replacement
think
therapy,
that anyone really needs
HRT.
marijuana? Everyone's, I got anxiety, I can't sleep. Doctor writes you, here's your card.
My girlfriend broke up with me. It's killing me. Okay, here's a prescription.
Right. Because you know what? They know it's not harming anyone. So give these bodybuilders a medical steroid card. They can go to a legitimate pharmacy who could order the stuff that they need, and they can buy testosterone and Winstrol and Deca from an American pharmacy and growth hormone. And at least they're getting real stuff. It doesn't, I just don't get it. I don't understand what, it's hormones. They're not buying fucking, crystal meth out of the pharmacy. And if you did that, you'd end the black market. It would be done. In one fell swoop, you'd completely, in this country at least, you'd end the black market. Of course, there would be some people that would want to get drugs maybe that the American pharmacies didn't make, like Trenbolone or something like that, because everyone wants what they can't get. But the smart people would use the stuff just from the pharmacy that was being made by legitimate pharmaceutical companies. And they probably wouldn't even abuse it because they're like, you know what, it's too easy to get it. You know how it is. When something's very readily available, you don't abuse it, So, and it would work a lot better too because it would be real.
So you should start what?
I got to start a movement now.
What was the movement the pot movement? What was the catalyst for the pot movement? Because it just took off and that was it.
You know why? Everywhere. Because they got all the cancer people behind it. And that once
you're right.
But once you get a big lobby behind you, someone who's got a lot of power and people that are willing to mobilize, that's power, that's strength. And I think that, the sick people demanded that they were able to access this medicine for themselves. And there was enough people out there and enough congressmen who had kids or family members who probably, benefited from that kind of treatment too, that they pushed it through, I get, the problem, if you put legalization of steroids on the ballot, it would probably fail, right? Because most people have no idea. They think that they're the demonic, drugs. They don't really know what they are. They don't realize how innocuous they are.
Oh, because all the little side conversations like, what about the NFL and the Olympics and baseball and college and Little League and Pee Wee football? Just all the nonsense.
Right. Like the kids are going to get it. Well, how about the kids with just
the
smoking
kids
the dope?
have phones and in ninth grade and watching porn films instead of doing math. I mean, what's the?
Well, that's why you put it in the hands of the doctors, so that people need a prescription for it. But if you make this prescription easy to get in the sense that if you're the right age, a consenting adult.
You're 20 years ahead of time, Dave.
I'm too far ahead.
You come back when we're doing the show 20 years from now.
I hope you're right. I hope people wise up and they say, because you know what? It's going to take, I hate to say it, it's going to take a couple people dying from poisoned steroid, black
yeah, but then they'll ban everything forever. It'll be like tryptophan. It'll be like tryptophan. Remember they banned tryptophan?
Yeah.
Like it was like I mean, think of the nonsense.
You know what? That was another China thing. It was tainted tryptophan, synthetic tryptophan that was coming from China. That's exactly what it was. And so they thought all tryptophan caused leukemia or whatever it resulted in. Yeah. But it's all it's going to take is a couple deaths from someone being poisoned, and I'll tell you why. Because they can't make it any more legal. 30 a controlled 3 substance, right? Yeah. They're going to have to. People are going to have to die, and then the people are going to have to say, "Look, what's going on here? These people are using it. You're not going to stop people from using it. Just fucking make it legal, but with a prescription. Make these guys go to doctors. Get legal, counsel on how medical counsel on how to use the stuff, and allow the doctors to prescribe it for performance enhancement, just like they prescribe Botox to take away wrinkles, okay? Or they put breast implants in women who want to have big boobs. Or what are the little doohickeys they got? They got a million different things. You want a facelift? They fucking stretch your face and sew it behind your ears. I mean, what? Are we serious here? If you don't like your fat, they suck your fat out of your body.
Well, you might get your LDLs may go wacky with a little bit of test. I don't know.
You know what the funny thing is? You can go to a plastic surgeon if these guys so choose to do it. You can get bicep implants, calf implants, pec implants. That's legal. Probably way more dangerous to the body, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Something foreign just sitting there for 20 years
Exactly.
until it dissolves.
Right.
Unless it's made out of cast iron.
And aside from a couple of nutty people, how many years do people really use anabolic steroids for? 10, 20 the most, maybe. Okay? There's never been reported deaths. I mean, aside from the fact that if you have predispositions for like heart disease and stuff like that, it might exacerbate it. But I'm telling you, I think if people had access to real pharmaceutical stuff, they wouldn't take as much. That's my belief.
You're probably right.
People think, they'll take more. No, they won't, because they would get a good response from it. Who knows? And who knows if a lot of the side effects from some of these steroids that people are getting, especially
the impurities of the
impurities.
Whatever, who knows what to take? Amaral.
Right. I think it's way more likely that someone will die from an infection caused by tainted steroid shot than the actual anabolic itself causing any death.
You're probably right there too.
All right, well, Chris, they had the Dubai Muscle Show this past weekend out in Dubai. I didn't go. I was invited, of course, but I couldn't go because we have a newborn, Sid, El Cid, as I call him.
Yeah, they're headed for a real estate bubble. But go ahead. That was in the
Sid was out there. Actually, Sid did a phenomenal job representing. You're going to see some of these great interviews he did with all the top names: Brandon Curry, Kai Greene, Phil Heath, Ronnie Coleman. They'll be going up on the site this coming week. Sid was out there all by himself. Can you believe it? He really held it down. I got to just give him a real round of applause. I'm so proud of him. He does such a great job. He's got a great voice, good interviewer. If there's anyone out that I have no problem sending, I mean, I love to send you because you know all the inside scoop. But isn't it amazing that Sid knows all the gossip and all the storylines on everyone?
Not only does he know the storylines, but he knows how to couch the question in a way that probably, I think, Dave, if you ask the same question, people might say like, well, why is he delving so much? It's such an innocent softball.
Sid's great. He does
that
a great
people
job.
open up.
He's such a hard worker.
I mean, they open up to you, obviously, too, especially when you're one-on-one. But
well, you know what the thing is? Sid's less intimidating than I am because people feel these guys don't even want to interview. They're so nervous that I'm going to ask them like a tough question. You know what? What I really wanted, which didn't happen, was I said to Sid, and I talked to Nick, the promoter. I said, look, last year I thought that one of the best interviews I did was when I had when I had Ronnie Coleman and Jay on stage together talking about battling it out. Because people, they've done it before, but I don't think that many people have ever seen them really hash it out what it was like going one-on-one against each other. I said, you got Phil and you got Kai in the same place. Get them on stage together and talk about it. Now that they're both not competing, let's hear what was going on, what Phil's strategy was against Kai, what's Kai's strategy against Phil, what he felt. It would be so real. That would be so interesting rather than just hear them blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And if Sid thought it was a great idea, the promoter thought it was a good idea. And I actually think that Phil thought it was a good idea. I think Kai's people foo-fooed it.
That's too bad.
They didn't want to do it.
Maybe he wants to compete still. Who knows?
No, I just think that, I don't know.
No, there's still bad blood then.
Yeah, I think
sometimes it takes time to you know what I mean? Sometimes it takes more time. I mean, there's a rivalry there. You know what? The difference is this. Jay and Coleman had an immense rivalry, and they had an immense level of respect for each other.
But they would do like appearances all year together. That's what people didn't realize. They would guest pose in the same contests. So they were hanging out with each other essentially,
Yep. And which is different than, Kai and Phil just had a strict competition rivalry. There wasn't a friendship. There wasn't a camaraderie. It was different.
I think
Which is when Jay actually, when you listen to Jay talk about winning the '06 Olympia, it was this weird, didn't get to enjoy it. It's such respect for Ronnie. Isn't that weird?
well,
That even though he was dethroning him, he didn't really watch his expression on stage. He's like, yeah, I got it.
Well, you remember? I don't know if you remember the Raging Bull, the movie about John.
Yeah, yep.
And was it Floyd Patterson?
Mm-hmm.
I think when he beat Jake LaMotta that last time, like LaMotta was completely out of shape, and Floyd was just like beating the piss out of him, and he was like, he felt bad for him almost. He's like, but he wouldn't go down. Jake LaMotta would never go down. Well, look, all champions' reign comes to an end. Some guys leave before they're like Haney left before he ever lost. Same thing with Dorian, which obviously makes it easier. Ronnie clearly felt that he didn't deserve to lose. Matter of fact, in his book he wrote that he felt that it was people were just sick of seeing him win, and he felt that they just got rid of him. He felt that he deserved to beat Jay. That
funny. I thought Jay beat him. Period.
I did too. I don't think there was a person in the house who didn't think that. Ronnie, has to be in a little bit of denial at that point. But remember his lat was small, and he just wasn't the Ronnie Coleman we remember anymore. And Jay was just still getting better and better. But Ronnie thinks that he was gypped, which is interesting. I didn't know that, but he said it in his book, and Sid talked to him about it. You'll see in the interview. But I think it's funny because I think that Phil knew that Kai was mentally, I wouldn't say weak, but vulnerable. That's a better word. And I think that Phil exploited Kai's vulnerability in that sense, confidence level-wise, especially at the Olympia. And that fucked with Kai, and Kai got and Kai took the bait, essentially, and would get really pissed off at Phil. And I think that was the edge that Phil needed over Kai. Because, look, they were right. I mean, they were so close together. They were Olympians. I mean, you could flip a coin, literally. And Phil would somehow always, squeak it out the last day. And we would all agree. Very rarely did we say he didn't deserve it against Kai. He always somehow pulled it out. And I think it was just him fucking with Kai's head. I just believe he got into his head too much.
Well, it would start at the press conference.
Yeah. It was like Sean Ray, doing what he used to do to Flex Wheeler. It was emotional warfare, which you think wouldn't do anything, right? You would think, oh fuck, your body's already in shape. You're at the show, but your mental state really can screw up your physical.
100%, 100%. Of course it can. They're not directly tied, but they're strongly tied. I mean, I've seen people fall apart, just under stress the last, 2 weeks. Say, what happened to so-and-so? He just collapsed the last 2 weeks. Couldn't handle it. I mean, people pull out of shows. They could have won shows. Right?
Yeah.
They literally didn't even compete at the show.
Look at Cedric. Always self-destructs at the Olympia, too.
Well, I mean, he's admitted it. No, he's admitted the anxiety at that show kills him.
Which makes you really have a lot of respect for a guy who can win the Olympia 7 times. I mean, you could say what you want about Phil, but the guy mentally was able to keep it together. 7 victories. That's pretty. It's a pretty good run, to do anything that many times. I mean, Ronnie just dominated everyone physically. Phil was a lot closer to the way these other guys looked, So with him, there was certainly it was a much slimmer margin at all the victories. I mean,
with
Phil winning, when Phil won, yeah. They weren't blowouts, They were all right, I just got by him. I just beat him. Ronnie was killing everyone until Jay really started kind of at the very, very end. But even most of the victories against Jay in the beginning were clear-cut Coleman victories, even though Jay looked really good,
Well, you could 0-1, so it's not.
0-1, yeah. Ronnie was a little off, but I mean, aside from that, Jay probably should have been there in 2002. That even he said it by his own admission. He screwed up by not doing the 2002 Olympia. Probably he could have won that one, maybe.
Well, he won the 01 Olympia.
Right, but if he had come back in 02, Ronnie was right off there.
Yeah.
They may have said, all right, well, we gave Ronnie a chance last year. We threw him a
Yeah,
bone.
well, every has time and place.
Yeah, but
Well,
Jay said that was the one regret he had, that he didn't do the 02 when I interviewed him, Olympia. He said that it could have been a missed opportunity for him.
Jay don't miss many opportunities.
No, to hear him say that was pretty monumental, And what?
No, he also said had he won in 01, he might have won 10. And the point being is that he may have won. Be it because you get the
momentum.
Yeah, well, you get the mental momentum. You know what I mean? You get the mental momentum. Like, okay, there's a difference between the uncertainty of I won, but I didn't win. What could have I done to win? What do I have to do next year to win, even though I won the prejudging, versus I won, they gave it to me, and I'm steamrolling ahead for 02, 03, 04 in my own game plan.
Right. Ronnie is pretty mentally tough, though. I got to tell you,
totally.
He was
plus he's oblivious,
which is helpful.
You could say to 10 competitors in the Mr. Olympia like this year, did you see so and so? He looks freaky. You could say LeBron or Wheeler looks freaky to Coleman. He wouldn't even bat an eye. He wouldn't even care. He'd say it's going to be a great battle.
Right. Or like when the press conference when they would do all this verbal stuff, Ronnie doesn't even get nothing bothers Ronnie.
You're not paying attention to what these guys.
No, he's eating his food or something like that. He missed the whole thing. People are like, Ronnie, what do you think about what Jay just said or what Phil just said? Huh? What do you say? Ronnie, are you sitting here listening? I don't know. I was eating my sweet potatoes. You can't get through to him. He's impenetrable. I think it's all an act. I think he's really brilliant. That's what I think. Be. He's brilliant. Ronnie in his book also was writing about when he walked on at Grambling, college. Grambling College was was it an all black school?
In Louisiana, I think it is.
Yeah,
I think it may be.
It was. I'm sure not anymore. It isn't, but it was.
It may be
back when he went probably, and. I don't know if you can do that anymore, right? Can you have an all-black school?
Of course you can.
You can't have an all-white school, but you can have an all-black school?
Well, you wouldn't need an all-white school because blacks couldn't go to schools. That's why they started all-black
No, I know, but I think now. I'll bet you there's white people at Grambling now. Anyway, Johnny goes to Grambling. They're a Division I football program in college. And he's a walk-on, which means he doesn't have a scholarship or anything like that. And
does he have pads? Let's see.
Who knows? He's just like a genetic
he was a walk-on
anomaly.
Bodybuilding too. Basically, he's a power lifter.
I was saying to myself, can you imagine getting hit by this guy on a football field? Because Ronnie had 20-inch arms, just walking on the field.
Dave, let me just make an aside. Mike Francois used to say that. I'm dead serious, not to make fun of Nasser again. He said, don't you think Nasser could be an NFL lineman, like a walk-on?
No way.
When he was big, or maybe he couldn't bend over.
He probably couldn't move. You have to be fit. Yeah, those guys are fast, those guys.
But could you move him?
But I'm saying Ronnie could, I guarantee at 300 pounds, Ronnie could run fast. So
so go back.
Ronnie walks on to Grambling. The coach gets one look at him. They're like, well, we'll give him a tryout. I mean, when you look at Ronnie, right, you think, fuck, the guy it looks like he can do anything. He gets the starting position. He's starting, playing like linebacker, sacking quarterbacks and everything like that. He's got a NFL team that's interested in him. I forget the name of the team, which team it was, but they told him, look, we're going to draft you. We're telling you right now, we're going to draft you in the draft. You're going to get drafted in the NFL. And we're going to take you. No one knows about you, but we're going to take you. So Ronnie's thinking, all right, I'm going to the NFL. He gets hurt. Somehow his neck, he crashes into someone with his head or something like that in his neck, and he heard a crunch, and he thought he hurt the person he hit. It was actually his own neck that crunched, which is probably what spurred a lot of some of the later injuries. I was just
going to say, sure, I agree with that.
It was a terrible, terrible injury, a hit. And I don't know if he missed the rest of the season, but it kills chances to be drafted. So he went and started delivering Domino's pizza after that. Can you imagine that? But he had a degree. He graduated with a degree from Grambling in accounting. Of course, you can't find any jobs as an accountant. So he delivers pizza. That's, and you know the rest of the story, right?
Yeah.
Went to the police academy, of course, becomes a police officer, and goes to Ronnie. Then he goes to Brian's gym, and Brian sees this fucking freak of nature, and he's like, "Holy mackerel!"
He starts powerlifting, and he does the walk on to bodybuilding. And he said, "You should do a bodybuilding show."
That was the whole thing. Brian said, "Look, if you want, I'll give you free membership to the gym, but you got to compete, okay?" Ronnie's like, "Fuck, what do I got to do to compete?" He's like, "We'll get you a pair of posing trunks. We'll show you some poses, and you got to shave your body." Yeah, all right, I'll try it. Free membership? All right, I'll do it. Ronnie had no money. He was delivering pizzas, don't forget, So, or maybe he was, I don't know if he was a police officer at that point. I don't know if he was or not. And he wins his first show, some Texas state show, goes to the Nationals. What gave Brian Thompson the audacity to send him to the Nationals after he was competing 1 year? I don't know.
I was there. I was at that show. Was it 1990, right?
91.
Where was it?
I think it was 91. Yeah. He places fifth, right?
Yep.
And he goes to no one wants to go to the Universe in Europe over there because no one can pass the drug test. Ronnie's 100% natural. He doesn't even know what steroids are back then.
Yeah, he's on real pizza.
Yeah. He goes over to Europe. He wins not only does he win his weight, wins the overall. Okay. He's probably the only guy who's not on drugs there, right? I mean, I imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though they can pass the drug test, they're all on drugs. He doesn't know he doesn't know anything about steroids at this point. He wins that, and he says, "All right, well, I'm a pro. I'm going to start competing as a right." And he starts competing. He doesn't do well, of course, because he's going against Lavroni and Flex Wheeler. And the rest is history. Ronnie finds out about the fact that guys take steroids. He starts taking him too, and before you know it, the guy's Mr. Olympia. So, I truly believe that he probably can play any sport out there and probably excel. Like if imagine giving Ronnie a javelin and saying, "All right, I'm going to teach you how to throw the javelin." Yeah. He set a world record in throwing that javelin.
He might not set a world record, but he might be like really right.
He'd be great. He would be good at it. Yeah, he would be good at it. What about if you gave Ronnie taught him how to long jump or triple jump?
Oh, he'd probably be great at
with those legs.
Jump. Yeah,
triple jump. I guarantee it's world record.
I guess what you're saying, he's very athletic.
He's the Bo Jackson of the bodybuilding world. I think he can do it all.
At 2012, he signed Roden for a 1-year contract.
I remember that.
And so Roden, Jay had already put into Roden's mind this whole idea that you have to internalize becoming Mr. Olympia. Mm-hmm. And so he sat Jay Roden down and gave him the whole spiel in Germany. And then here Coleman signs him to a contract and he gets to travel all around the world with Ronnie. And Ronnie essentially says or is the same thing that Jay explains to him, that you got to start believing this stuff if you want to be Mr. Olympia.
Right.
Aside from that he got to spend a ton of time with Coleman. He said they would travel and Coleman would pack like 12 suitcases.
Oh, with all his stuff he sold, right?
All his T-shirts.
Yeah.
And he'd come back like with zero.
Yeah, he would have tons of money, cash too.
I think you'll have to. I think he sold once. It was like 3,000, Dave. Or maybe it was. No,
well, I remember Ronnie telling me
3,000
when he would go to Australia, a lot of times he would have to send for more stuff. I said, "Ronnie, you're in Australia. He's like, "Yeah, but I'd be there for like a week." I'm like, "A week? So how would you get the stuff? You can't like overnight stuff to Australia." He goes, "Well, you spend enough money, you can get it over there." No. I said, "Holy mackerel." Yeah, but Ronnie was still big then, so people were like, forget about it. Ronnie shows up. No, Australia was always a good place to make money, though, for bodybuilders.
What was it? They bodybuilding plus the dollar might have been strong, right?
It was back then. It was very strong. But they just like the bodybuilders. They just always were into it.
Here, let's have a game show, Dave. You tell me what's in Adelaide.
You know what? Adelaide is where they make IGF-1.
Ding.
Yeah. You've been to Adelaide. I know that you told me.
Yeah, no, that's why you told. I said I'm going to Adelaide. You said, "Oh, that's where I think." Would you fly over there to get IGF or something?
No, I didn't fly there. No, that's where it came from. That's where it was originally manufactured. The people who invented it or synthesized it for the first time were from Adelaide. Yeah, was it Gropep? I think it was called Gropep. You know, I actually miss going to Australia. I love going there, and it's even though it's a very long flight, it doesn't bother me. But you know, it's just tough.
Dave, you and I had a blast there, and we took what did we do? We both slept the entire flight wherever we met. We meet in New York, and we woke up in like Adelaide.
No, I think we met in California, right?
Is that yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, we both got. Yeah, it was 14 hours there, and I don't think we said 2 words to each other the whole flight.
We did not. You woke
Matter of
up.
fact, I forgot you were on the plane. I'm in my own world when I'm on the plane. I'm so relaxed when I'm on that plane. Oh my god.
Oh, can you imagine if we went now with the ultimate vacation? Chris and Dave go to Dubai, no kids, you know.
Oh, that's.
We'd have a good time.
20 years maybe we'll go. Sid was on the plane. I said, how'd you do? Because he went New York to Dubai straight on Emirates, and he's like, oh, it was horrible. Horrible? He's like, oh, I didn't sleep 1 minute. I said, what do you mean you didn't sleep 1 minute? Didn't you bring anything like Xanax or anything to knock you out? He's like, I should have. I said, but you had to be tired and sleep at least a few. He goes, there was screaming kids behind me. Listen to this. Then, Sid's Pakistani. There were two. It was an Indian couple sitting next to him. I don't think the Indians and Pakistanis get along, but Sid gets along with everyone.
No, there's kind of something called cashmere between them, but go ahead.
Yeah. So listen, they're an older couple, and they were watching the same movie, he said, but on different screens, and they were singing. It was an Indian movie. They were singing out loud.
Singing along with it, yeah.
Yeah, they were singing out loud, though, but they couldn't hear, anything, but Sid could hear it. He was sitting right next to them. He's like, I'm trying to sleep, and these people are singing.
He should have got it from the YouTube station, the RxMuscle YouTube station.
I said, why did you videotape? I said the same thing.
See?
He's like, I didn't even think it. He goes, I was so fucking tired and so aggravated by the fact that I couldn't sleep. So I said, you're crazy. If you get on an airplane like with a flight that's over 10 hours and you don't have like some Xanax or Valium or anything to knock you out, Benadryl, anything, you're out of your freaking mind. Because then it could become like a torture.
Yeah, I just used Benadryl when we went on that.
You got to take something to take the edge off. Because let's face it, it's not that comfortable sitting in a chair sleeping for 10 hours. But if you take something to knock you out, it makes it a lot easier. Of course.
I usually stay up all night long. So the second I get on a plane on a long flight like that,
and back then, I had my shoulders hadn't been replaced yet, so I was. The pain, it was very uncomfortable sitting in those seats. Nowadays, if I got on a plane now, forget about it. I'd be out from the minute I got on there to the minute I landed. I only wake up, I get up for the food. Like I see them come by with the food. Mm-hmm. I wake up, I gobble my meal down, and I go back to sleep again. Just to keep my blood sugar
Please
stable.
wake me up. I want to get my money's worth. I don't want to miss the food.
No, because it's a long time. Because if I get hungry and then my luck, I'll sleep through all the good meals. I'll wake up and they'll be serving like. A dessert or something like that. A croissant.
No, they'll be serving the breakfast, which is like a muffin with yogurt and a coffee and like all carbs.
Although sometimes on those flights I've had good meals. Breakfast like with the omelet. It's like a wrap omelet. Like it depends what country you're going to. For some reason, certain countries have better meals than other countries. Mm-hmm. When I went to Asia, the food was amazing. It was really good. When I went, I think the Emirates had really good food too, if I remember correctly, going to Dubai. Really good food. Some of the planes will sell food too. I don't mind paying for food if I'm on a plane either.
Yeah, neither do I. If it's good food.
I like the fact that you can just another thing is the little touch screen in front of you. You can dial up whatever food you want on there. Virgin started that. Virgin Air. What's it, Richard Branson?
Yeah, I think they're gone now, Virgin, right? They merged with someone or sold.
Oh, they did?
Richard Branson's only got the rockets now. Competing
SpaceX,
with Elon Musk for
who's going to go to Mars first, yeah.
I think
Delta was always Delta was always associated. Why would you say they're going to go to jail?
No, because he was in Asia. Elon Musk had called some guy a pedo guy. He was being sued for defamation of character.
Oh my God!
And the judge said that it was, it was more bickering, and to be taken as two guys bickering than anything. It's not to be taken literally.
Right. Well, I guess if you got a chance to sue Elon Musk or like Richard Branson or like Jeff Bezos from Amazon, you got to take a shot at it, right? With the amount of money these guys have.
Elon Musk got criticized because when he was on the stand, they said, "What is your net worth?" And he didn't really know. I mean, how would he know?
Yeah,
exactly. How would he know? And so on further questioning, they said, do you have this amount of ownership in this and this amount of ownership in that? And they pegged it at $20 billion.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
He's almost gone broke and bankrupt a few times.
Of course. You ever see that on 60 Minutes? It was crazy. Yeah.
Great story. I mean, he made all that money on PayPal. Sold that. Then he used all that money to
all of it, every drop of it,
to keep Tesla in business.
Yes.
Now they get this. Everyone's like talking about this Tesla truck, this electric truck. Seen it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Everyone's like, I ordered one. I'm like, no one's driven it yet.
Yeah.
You're ordering something that no one's driven. So he knows how to market. That's why people are excited.
He knows how to create too.
It looks cool. Might not work that well, but it looks cool. That's half the battle. People buy things for the way it looks.
Of course they do. That's what clothes are about.
It's a lot different. You don't have to drive around in your clothes. So I had Valentino on the After Hour show with Romano this past week.
Yeah, what were they chatting about?
Talking about the Sound Factory. All the people that went out to party at the Sound Factory.
That must have been. They could have talked for hours. They want to get high again and talk about it.
You know something that I didn't know back in the day? Greg Valentino never did drugs. He doesn't drink and he doesn't do drugs.
Yeah, so he said that before. He said that on the show before. Whenever you had him on,
he might take like an energy drink, or back then they would do with pop ephedra pills maybe, but he didn't do ecstasy and smoke weed and drink alcohol. He just never did it. And I said, Greg, how did you stay at the club all those hours? He just socialized. Because if I had to go to a club, I fall asleep. Yeah, I don't know how you stay awake.
But he was excited to be in the mix.
He just loved it. He loved the atmosphere. I don't know. It was a good show. People want to hear about the Sound Factory. What was even crazier was that they had. I didn't even know they had another club called the Tunnel. I remember hearing about it. I never went there. The Tunnel was an old subway station. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I'd heard of the Tunnel, but
yeah, it was. You literally went down into the tunnel, and you could. The dance floor was like there was like railroad tracks there, and you could look down the whole tunnel. They had a light at the end of it to made it look like spooky, but it was actually with the subway stick. It was an old subway stop. Brilliant idea, right? For someone to create a club out of that.
Yeah.
But Greg said when they would turn the lights on in the morning, there would be like dead people. People would be dead.
Oh yeah, but people would pass out everywhere.
Yeah, but literally dead people they'd find, every weekend because they did so many drugs and they'd just be in the they'd be just sitting like on the floor in the tunnel. No one knew they were there. Mm-hmm. So, but I went a couple times to the Sound Factory, but I wasn't like a regular like Victor Martinez was and all those guys.
You'd overheat there. How could you go?
Oh, I couldn't. Yeah, because I was always like, I was at the gym the next day. That's no matter, even if I went out and had I didn't do this at the beginning of my career. Toward the end of my career, I went out. I had gotten divorced in 2001, and so I did a little.
You were curious more than going out.
Yeah, I had never done anything. I had never drank. I never had alcohol.
You were curious and you want to go out and see what people were doing.
Yeah, I went crazy for a couple.
Otherwise, you were too hardcore. You want to be like Jay in bed by 9 so you could think about your workout.
Right. But if I would go out, let's say I'd stay out till 3 a.m, okay? Because I couldn't go all night like those guys. They would go all the way to the next day. if I came in at let's say I got to bed by 4 a.m. Right?
Oh, the guilt would kill your workouts.
Yeah, but you know what? I was I'd go to sleep late anyway. I would go to sleep, but I'd sleep late. So I would go to sleep. So if let's say I was I went to the Nationals, and I knew I was going to go out on a Saturday night. I wouldn't go out the whole Friday night, Saturday night. I knew I was going to go out Saturday night because that's when they had the after party. I would book my flight home Sunday evening or Sunday late afternoon so I could sleep. Literally, I would sleep till noon in the hotel room. I'd get a late checkout. I'd get up. I'd go to the breakfast buffet. I'd load up, and when I would get home from going out, I would drink. I'd have a shake ready for myself, and I would take 6,000 multivitamins, and I'd drink a half gallon of water, flush everything down, take a shower, and I'd go to sleep. So when I woke up in the morning, I didn't have a hangover. I didn't feel terrible, and I would usually take something to fall asleep. I'd take some GABA or some melatonin just so I'd get a good quality sleep, and I would stay asleep. I said, "Don't bother me." I would tell everyone, "I don't want to be bothered. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys at brunch at noon or something like that." And I would literally sleep to 12 noon. I'd get up, take a shower, go eat breakfast, and I would get all my 6 meals in that day. I would go to the airport, by 4 o'clock, whatever the flight was, and fly home, and I'd continue eating the rest of the night, and I get up on Monday morning, and back to my normal, thing. So
now you're driving a Mini with 3 kids.
Now I'm driving a minivan with 3 kids. I don't go anywhere.
You get no sleep.
I get 4 hours of sleep now. I found that, you don't need as much sleep when you're not squatting 600 pounds. You notice that?
Isn't that oh, Mike, please.
Because I know you don't sleep, but you had to have slept when you were bodybuilding, right?
Yeah, but I just, that's Dave. It's so funny you say that because I don't need any sleep because there's no pounding, crazy physical stress where your body just has to shut down in order to recover.
If you got 4 hours when you were bodybuilding and you took some caffeine and went to the gym and tried to bench press,
forget it.
You'd kill yourself. You'd injure yourself. You would be dead.
And when you're training hard, you can't catch up on sleep. But if you're not training at all, you can say, okay, Sunday I'm sleeping until noon, and you can technically catch up. Yeah. Otherwise, in training you can't.
No way.
You'll be tired 3 weeks later.
You're right. So now what's going on with Stanimals? You going to the open class too? Huh?
Stanimal open. Jason Lowe is open. Everyone wants to do open. Yeah, Stanimal's doing open. Yeah.
Is this like a fad?
No, because Stanimal is another one. Look, here's 3 guys. I'll give you their numbers, and these are legit numbers. Henry Pierre, who came down to the Classic, and one year they let him weigh in at 240. That's when he looked brutal. But he competed in an open show at 255, and then he came down to 229 for the, and he was ripped at 255. So he's going back to open.
Okay.
Jason Lowe weighed 193, and he was depleted and flat at 207. So what's that? 14 pounds.
Right.
So even at 213, that's 20 pounds up. He looks good. So, that's not even 212. And Stanimal, he would have to go down to 207, and he's legit in really good shape at 227. So that's 20 pounds up. So think of how depleted people have to get to that classic weight, which someone, I don't, and I've said this on the radio before, someone had texted me or emailed me once and said, Chris, some people have classic physiques, and I hate this weight combo, like the height weight thing, but you kind of need it so that it's just not a bodybuilding show.
Yeah, of course you do. It prevents it getting out of hand, like women's bodybuilding.
So, originally I thought that was like a Marvel idea, like, oh, hey, if you have a classic physique, you should just be able to compete in the classic. But then I thought, no, that won't work, because then you'll distort the class. Yeah. And I think it's important to put a lid on, isn't it odd? It's important to put a lid on the size.
Well, because otherwise, what differentiates it from bodybuilding?
Nothing. Won't be nothing.
That's why I suggested that they make women's physique height and weight, because this way it differentiates it from women's bodybuilding. Otherwise, there is no differentiation.
The flip side too is I don't. That's why I don't like when they like, okay, we're letting people be 3 pounds bigger,
right?
Because it's just pushing that envelope.
Yep.
Where classic people may start. It just gets too there's no longer a delineation. I mean, there is obviously now, but at that point.
Oh, by the way, Sid said that his interview with Guy Sistinino was off the charts.
Oh, really? What did he do? Did they have to beep out? How many F words did?
I don't know. He said it was great. That's all he told me. Yeah, I'll have to see it. I said, all right. So I have to imagine if Sid said it was great, it has to be.
It's great because Guy's still high because he's qualified from the Olympia at the last show of the year.
Yeah.
I posted up, by the way, on his puny pictures and Eduardo Correa's puny pictures. They both had serious injuries.
Yeah.
And, they came back from those injuries.
I see that, not this, but I see Sean Roden promoted a show this past weekend.
Oh, I didn't know he was able to promote shows.
I guess he can promote, he just can't compete.
Oh, wasn't that funny?
Which is kind of ridiculous when you think about it, yeah. Maybe he should become a promoter.
Well, I can't wait to this. I can't wait to the Olympia. How's that?
So they had the bikini there. I see. This was in the Philippines.
Yeah.
How did Sean Roden get hooked up in the Philippines? I know that I knew he was doing the show and he's done stuff there before. What's his connection to the Philippines?
His extremely good friend is from the Philippines, and they've been friends for years and years and years. And they decided, I don't know how long it's been now, 6 years ago, just since 2012, I think. They had a small local show started out. It was very successful. And they've just moved up from there.
Interesting. No, good for him.
So the connection is he has a friend from.
Got you.
Yep.
Show was won by Cel Guevara from the Philippines. Huh? Local girl makes good. That'll be interesting going to the Olympia. Samantha Kwan. Second. What country is HKSAR? Do you know what that stands for?
HKSAR. Google it. I don't know. HK, I thought would be like
maybe you might be right.
Hong Kong.
Let me see what it says. That's very good. You were right. Wow, Chris, I'm impressed.
It's the first thing I ever got right on the show where you say it, but usually I don't know any of that stuff.
It's Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. So Hong Kong also now is officially called Hong Kong Special Administration Region of the People's Republic of China. Yeah, you remember the British gave it back to the Chinese people?
Yeah.
So it's ASAR. That's funny.
Yeah. A lot of protesting going on in Hong Kong.
Well, you know what? If you're from Hong Kong, you should be able to say I'm from Hong Kong. Everyone knows Hong Kong. I was in Hong Kong. Did you ever go to Hong Kong?
No, I told you the time I went to China was just recently, and everyone thinks it was because of this, the steroid stuff going out of.
I could live in Hong Kong. Tell you why. Number one, I love Chinese.
You like the food,
Asian cuisine. I love the cuisine.
I answered it right away.
I love the fact that you don't even need a car in Hong Kong. Everything is subways. And
you like that it's clean and organized, I bet, right?
But it's busy. It's busy, but it's fine. The food is great. They got a lot of. Everything is wheeling and dealing there. I love it. If you have money and you're going to buy quantity, you're going to get a deal. There's no price that's set in stone. Mm-hmm. And they got a whole street devoted to fish there. It's called Fish Street. They're into animals. They have all kinds of animals there.
You
can buy anything in Hong Kong pretty much you want. There's nothing that you can't get in Hong Kong if you have enough money or you know the right people. I like that. It's a true city of trade. Everything comes through Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had to pick a foreign country to live in, where I didn't have any. Let's say I had no family and friends, and I just was like, you know what, I got to get away from it all. I'm going to go. I live in Hong Kong. The only impediment to Hong Kong for me would be language, but there's a lot of people who speak English there. So because it was originally a British colony, so I think I can make it there. Not that I'm not going anywhere. You know, I have a happy family now, but I'm saying Hong Kong is great. If anyone gets a chance to travel, and Hong Kong is only a speed ferry away from Macau, which is also another great place to go to because it's like the Las Vegas of the Asian continent, whereas Dubai is the Las Vegas of the Middle East, and Las Vegas.
Do they have gambling in Dubai?
Yes. No, I don't think so. I think it might be against the religion. I don't know. They don't have it, but it's set up like Vegas. It's like a big. It's actually better than Vegas, I think.
With Macau.
No, Dubai.
Oh, Dubai.
Dubai is, and the great thing about Dubai is it keeps getting bigger and more elaborate. It's not like they don't have any plans to like, all right, we're done. You know, it just keeps getting better and better, which is tremendous. I could probably live there too, but it's very hot there. You know, it's like 150 degrees in the summer though. That might that could sometimes be a bummer. But you know who would do great in Dubai? Jay'd probably become a billionaire if he lived in Dubai.
Well, what's to say he's not one now? I'm just kidding.
It's probably close to it. No, because you know what they would all the crown.
Unlike Elon Musk, who would not know his net worth, I argue that Jay would know his. But go ahead.
The sheikh there would love Jay. You know that he'd probably build Jay a palace. You know, just to live there, because he loves bodybuilding.
Maybe Jay could go as like an ambassador or something. Since he was he
was the ambassador to the Olympia. He could be I'm shocked that they haven't established a Dubai IFBB, there. You know, like pro show. But I heard that Raphael is very tight with the guy who runs the IFBB there. Mm-hmm. You know, the other B.
Well, all the more reason. All the more reason.
I'm telling you, eventually, because if they can get in there. Forget about it. They could make an Olympia there. They could have the Dubai Olympia, they can call it. Because they don't care. The money is irrelevant, right, to them? They don't care. All right, you know what?
Let's see.
The Weider family wants to charge them $1 million for the name of the Olympia. All right, we'll pay it. No problem. We'll call it the Dubai Olympia. We'll hold it the week after the Olympia. We'll give triple the prize money away. No one will want to do the real Olympia. They'll be like, I'm just going to go do the Dubai Olympia. That's the key. The key to making our sport big time is, let's face it, that's the only thing holding us back now, right? No one cares about public acceptance. If there was $10 million up for grabs,
I don't. Which public and Dave? Which public and which acceptance?
My point is, if the winner won $10 million and second place got $5 million and the third place got
instantaneously,
people would go crazy for it, right?
Yeah.
You'd actually have legitimate like athletes wanting to be bodybuilders.
Well, you just said Coleman's an athlete.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, Coleman is like the rest of us. He would have gladly have bodybuilded for $0. The fact that he was able to make money was icing on the cake for him. He had a real job. He was a cop. We're dummies. We do the sport because we love it. But we love to make money.
You always say on the show, do what you love.
Yeah. It's just taking a long time for the money to come in. But the money has definitely increased. I mean, with the bodybuilders today, Phil was making $400,000, you know. Roden won $400,000. I mean, Curry won $400,000. That's a lot of money. I mean, it's not a lot of money when you compare it to football, but
it's
only
a lot
one
of money.
show too.
You know what? It's a lot of money when you compare it to a school teacher. I always use school teacher as a litmus test.
Yeah, I mean, football players play a whole season to make the money they're making. The bodybuilders are competing in one show and they're making that much money, so that's not bad. I mean, the guys who win the Super Bowl only make about $100,000 extra. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what they make.
I don't remember. I know they make a little extra money for doing the Super Bowl, but
they kind of got pretty darn good salaries, regardless.
Absolutely, because they got agents and they got people who want them. Because the TV.
They got 80,000 people in the stands too, paying $300 a ticket.
True. Very true.
But give Dan Solomon a little bit of time.
Give him some time, right?
Dan, you've done good so far. You've hit it out of the park.
There you go.
You're number one. Congratulations.
Challenge you.
We challenge you to up that prize money to $10 million for first, 9 for second.
Exactly. What do you think The Rock will do? I heard a lot of talk about how he's going to have all this prize money and he's going to be the biggest show, but I haven't heard any details. Have you?
Yeah. No, I haven't heard anything, but I mean, The Rock is the right, so.
I'd like to see him come in and do something, but who knows? At the end of the day, he's a businessman. He's going to sit down, and it doesn't make dollars and cents to give away this much prize money unless he get these advertisers to come in, right?
It's a big net positive at the end of the day.
It's dollars and cents. He's not taking taking money out of his pocket.
Yeah.
He's not going to open his bank account up and say, all right, here's $1 million to give to the bodybuilders.
Well, he's a businessman. He's not going to put in 1 cent of his own money.
He's going to use his power and influence to leverage good advertisers, Under Armour, all his connections, and he's going to get them to put the money up. But at the end of the day, before they put the money up, they're going to be like, what are we getting from this? What's the return for us? And that always seems to be the impediment, because you can get people excited about bodybuilding, right? I mean, everyone gets excited. Who doesn't want to see a freaking Ronnie Coleman on stage? But at the end of the day, you're like, is Ronnie Coleman going to sell any Pepsis for me, or whatever, or any Nike shoes for me? I don't know. So the guy who's running the down the sideline, with a football in his hand, probably going to sell some Nike, because I would imagine, right? Bodybuilders don't have any shoes on stage.
Well, but they could still. Jay sells what? Automex.
Yeah.
Been doing it for 25 years, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if he makes any money from it, but knowing Jay, he makes something.
Yeah, of course he does.
So it'll be interesting to see what the future of bodybuilding. I hope for the future bodybuilders. I'm not going to benefit from it, but I hope for all the future guys out there who are going to put their bodies on the line in the gym, who do what they love, that they can actually be a payoff at the end of the day that's worth it. Something that can make all that sacrifice seem like, wow, you know what? I can do this as a profession. I don't have to do anything else, and I'm being appreciated for what I'm doing and accomplishing. And that's at the end of the day, that's really what we want, right? For our sport to be validated in a sense.
Well, yeah. That's you want to professionalize it, monetize it.
Right. And it goes back, and just not to go full circle, but we always go full circle. If you guys would just legalize steroids, right? Give these people these cards that they can go use at their legitimate pharmacies, that would legitimize the idea of what these guys are doing on stage, because who cares? If it's not a big deal to use anabolic steroids because you have a real prescription, you go see a doctor, then what you accomplish using them won't matter, because it's not really a sport. It's a sport of extremes to see what you can accomplish given these tools that we can use. So I don't know. There's a lot of impediments to get past, but I think in like 50 years we're going to be laughing. People 50 years from now, they're going to be like, what a bunch of dopes these guys were, arresting people for hormones. What's wrong with these people? Who cares? Who cares what these people used? Look how good these people look now. Now you can go to your doctor. He can prescribe.
People still be having podcasts and saying this. Oh, well, the guys were better in the 1990s, 100 years ago, right?
They won't. You know why? Because in 50 years from now, Chris, you're going to take a shot, and you're going to change your genetic code, and you're going to produce no myostatin. You're going to optimize other hormones. It'll be like a designer kit. You'll be like, okay, do you want to look like Ronnie Coleman or Jay Cutler or Flex Wheeler? Oh, I'll take the Flex Wheeler kit. No, yeah. I'd rather have the Ronnie Coleman kit. And you're going to inject this viral vector into yourself, and it's going to change your genetics.
You should have saw 60 Minutes tonight. You would have loved it.
Oh, really? What was it about?
It was on gene manipulation, what's coming.
Oh, really? Yeah.
We loved it.
I'm sure they have a replay someplace.
You do catch it. You will absolutely love.
I'll watch it. I'll listen to it while I'm editing the show.
Your favorite thing? They're going to bring the dinosaurs back too.
Are they really saying that?
Oh yeah. What's it called? De-extinction of what used to be.
But now, how are they going to get viable dinosaur DNA?
I don't know, because now you can take like a skin gene and turn it into a liver gene, and you can grow anything from like a piece of skin.
So they're saying the science is better now.
They can backtrack.
They can you're saying they can fill in the gaps of the missing DNA. I think it's a great idea. Seriously, have you ever watched some of these nature shows where they show the Komodo dragons from the island of Komodo?
Oh yeah,
where it's protected. They're living dinosaurs essentially. They're the biggest lizards in the world. These things are huge.
You would love to have them in coral. I always get Cape Coral.
Well, you get a bite from one. Now they're pretty tame because there's so people around them in Komodo National Park that they don't really bother the people. And you can't touch them. You'll be, they'll hang you in center square if you do anything damage to these things. So, but I'm looking at the size of these things, and then there's a bird called the cassowary. You ever see those things? They're in Australia. They'll fucking kill you. They kick you. They'll take your guts out. I'm thinking, these are birds. These are like big lizards. The dinosaurs are like 6,000 times more dangerous than these and bigger than these dangerous animals that we still have that are essentially leftovers, remnants of the dinosaurs, right? Mm-hmm. Crocodiles, alligators, remnants, leftovers that just somehow made it through whatever disaster killed off the dinosaurs. Jurassic Park is a very real scenario.
Dave, you love that movie.
I do love the movie.
You love it. You're obsessed with it.
I would kill to have a little.
I know you would.
T-Rex
little
egg
baby dinosaur
hatch in my fucking incubator, but that T-Rex could fucking wind up eating my whole family. And killing me.
I know, but
There's
I know
you
try to build some type of. You get some listener to build some like cage around it.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
Doesn't work. It doesn't work. Too dangerous. I think bringing back dinosaurs is too dangerous, to be honest.
I worry about your backyard alligators coming up on their.
Because you know what'll happen? They'll get loose. They'll breed. We'll have a dinosaur problem. Then you got to worry about going outside at night because there could be dinosaurs lurking. We think we killed them all, but there could be a couple that got away, and bred someplace. Great. That's just what I want to hear. Florida's, everything lives in Florida, right? If the Burmese python could live in Florida, then certainly the T-Rex could live in Florida.
Yeah, perfect environment.
Some dummy will release it too. Oh, you know what? I had a couple of fucking embryos. I threw them in my backyard in the swamp back there. Well, guess what? They lived and they hatched. And now they're eating all the alligators in the canal. And once they're done with the alligators, they're going to come out of the canal and they're going to start they're going to start hunting on land for fucking stuff. I think what they should do is only bring back the herbivores, like brontosaurus, well, the vegan dinosaurs,
the grass-eating stuff.
Yeah, the vegan dinosaurs, like the brontosaurus. They're big enough they're impressive enough, right? They're like big, huge, monster-ish looking things. And at least they're kind of like big cows. They're kind of not going to really hurt. I mean, I guess if they step on something, they can ruin your car and stuff like that. But they'll probably be a lot easier to control since they're not trying to eat you. But yeah, I'm into all that gene. I think we have. It's going to be crazy in the future. It's going to be crazy. I don't know what people should be more afraid of. The genetic manipulation of organisms that we're going to have the technology to do,
robots,
or artificial intelligence. I think that's scary to me. Yeah. What if they start to actually?
That's another
become
movie.
Aware.
That's right. That's
Isaac Asimov, right?
No, it's Arnold's movie.
Well, yeah, there's a few
Terminator.
Yeah, but there's a lot of movies like that too. But I think that's a real thing. At some point, they get consciousness.
I think.
And we have basically.
Hasn't Elon Musk warned against it? Same guy. We'll come back to
we set a whole society based on the computers run everything now. We can't do anything without. We're so dependent on them.
Yeah, I go to the University of Google. Think about the computer. Think about the information that you have.
But I'm saying, imagine if the computers became aware and they said turn themselves off, and we couldn't use them. We'd be like, we can't even get to work. We can't do anything. We're fucking completely dependent on this thing.
You know what I always think, Dave? I think, what would happen to the world tomorrow if the credit card processing systems didn't work?
Oh my god, yeah.
I
You couldn't use Amazon.
You couldn't get
Amazon would go out of business.
couldn't get gas at my 7-Eleven.
Ronnie Coleman would just buy a cow, plant some fucking vegetables in his backyard. He'd be fine.
Yeah,
he
he'd
wouldn't
be
even
happy.
stress out.
Yeah, that's right.
We'd be interviewing Ronnie. Ronnie, what's going? You're very upset about the fact that all the computers shut down and there's no way
You'd
to know
have to
nothing.
transcribe it. You couldn't.
I used to train at Metro. He'd be 80 years. I used to train at Metroflix. No air conditioning. You don't need air conditioning. Well, what are you eating? Well, I got a couple cows in my backyard. Drink some milk. You can digest milk at 90. Oh yeah, no problem. Working out in my garage, 100-degree heat. How are you working out? Well, I got my new legs, from the from the gene therapy that they created. I grew 2 new legs and a new spinal column. Oh shit! I'm going to be doing the Olympia next year at 100.
Well, that was out. You watch the 60 Minutes. You will love it.
I will.
Because they also talked about that's it on eliminating all viral infections and reversing the aging process.
Yeah, we'll create our own super virus and can kill ourselves off. Believe me, with all this gene manipulation, because you know what? To get genes into your body, you got to use viral vectors, and all it's going to take is one fucking nutcase to twist it in the wrong direction, and it'll be killing you off everyone instead of fixing everyone. It's a brave new world, as Aldous Huxley said. In 1984, or whatever. I'm confusing the book. George Orwell wrote 1984.
Books, yeah.
But Aldous Huxley wrote that book. What was it called? It was A Brave New World. Yeah, A Brave New World. 1984 was the book that was written by the other guy, George Orwell. Right?
Yeah, my kids are reading that right now.
But that's it. I love when we do these shows and we don't have to talk about bodybuilding.
Well, we talk about...
Or, I mean, not talk about, contest, results and stuff like that.
Kai and Phil and the rivalry.
We talked about a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about a lot of it.
Jay's net worth and Jay being an ambassador.
Yep. What am I have an interview this week. Who am I interviewing? I forgot.
You don't even know.
I forgot.
Interview last week, so I can go on the RxMuscle YouTube station and watch the interview with
I did a lot of rants because Sid was away. Sid is going to have all those interviews from Dubai. I figured.
What did you rant about so I can get a preview?
What did I rant? I ranted about male conception, contraceptive. They have all these new things about how to stop men from conceiving. Mm-hmm. I don't want to have any more kids, but I really am against the whole vasectomy thing. Conceptually, because they ligate, they basically block the sperm from coming out of your testicles. Mm-hmm. Going, if no sperm comes out, you can't get anyone pregnant. But I don't like the idea if they have nowhere to go and they go backwards. I conceptually have a problem when vessels are blocked off in my body, and mm-hmm. I purposely do that. I just think it's not a good way to fix the problem. So then they have some new ideas. They have like a pill. Watch my rant. It's not a good. They haven't figured out a good solution yet. I got to wait for them to manipulate.
You would just prefer the female to take the pill.
No, I don't. I don't think that's good either. I'm against that, actually. I don't know what the right solution is. I never had to worry about it. I never was fertile. I took steroids for all those years in HRT. I might have to go back on HRT. I don't even want to, but I might have to.
Dave, how many people have conceived with the Dave Palumbo, whatever, what do you call it, the hocus pocus?
Baby making protocol. Yeah, a lot of people.
I texted you last week someone that I said, congrats. I don't say who, but
hundreds, maybe more, because I don't even know.
It was a screenshot. But people do this because they asked me and I just copy and how many times I say, Dave, can you resend me that thing? Can you resend me that thing? And the guy said, oh, my wife's pregnant. And they think it's mine. I said, it's not mine. It's Dave Palumbo's. So you can name like the baby if it's a boy. Yeah. The middle name can be Dave.
Yeah.
Palumbo.
Jumbo.
To
Palumbo.
honor or 280 at AOL or whatever that huge.
Huge 285, yeah. You know, it's true though, but a lot of people it has worked very well for a lot of people, and I'm very happy because you know what? A lot of people were being taken advantage of by these fertility doctors. In the sense, they just charge a ridiculous amount of money and the drugs, and so if I could help people, you know, and because you know what, these doctors say you're never going to get pregnant. I'm like, don't listen to these fucking people. They don't know.
Yeah.
If I got my wife pregnant 4 times, really, because we had one miscarriage.
In 3 months. 3 years, rather.
Yeah, See, if I have all these kids, if I got 3 kids that are 3 healthy kids sitting in my house right now, upstairs sleeping, please stay asleep. Anyone could do it. So
what I say before tonight when you said, "Hey, can we start the show at like 11:45?" I said, "Dave, if you have one more baby, we're gonna start the show at like 3 a.m." So
no more. No mas. My daughter the new one is sleeping now. Finally, during the night. My wife gets up to feed her, but she sleeps most of the time. So that's good.
I almost said her name. I forgot it. Just give me what's the first letter of the name?
Shayla.
Shayla. That's the first. You're supposed to give me the S. Shayla.
My Uncle Vinny died. My Uncle Vinny my father had 5 brothers and 2 sisters. The two sisters are much younger. They're alive. All the brothers now have passed. Yeah, my Uncle Vinny was like 10 years younger than my father. I really liked my Uncle Vinny. My Uncle Vinny, when I would go to holiday dinners at my grandmother's house, my Uncle Vinny had this he was convinced that I looked like John Travolta. He would be like, John Travolta. He looks like John Travolta. He looks like John Travolta.
There used to be a resemblance.
I didn't think. I love John Travolta. I thought I was an ugly kid. I thought I didn't look like John Travolta. He would
the same hair.
Say
the same
it so many times that it would drive. I was so embarrassed.
Yeah.
By the fact he was saying John Travolta, and I didn't see it until later. Now I look back at pictures. I'm like, I did look like him when I was younger.
And you guys were both skinny. When John Travolta was young, he was like
Then he started. Then as I got a little older, and I grew my hair out at one point, like and I just started working out too. So I had a little decent physique. Maybe it was like 180 pounds. I had some muscle on me, and I had long hair. Then he started telling me when I looked like Mel Gibson, and I liked Mel Gibson too. I probably looked more like Mel Gibson at that time than I looked like John Travolta, and he would torture me at but I loved it. But he used to embarrass the hell out of me for some reason. It's John Travolta. John Travolta. Say it 400 times. My Uncle Vinny would only smoke. We would always tell him, Uncle Vinny, I thought you gave up smoking and drinking. He goes, I only drink when I smoke. I only smoke when I drink.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but he had given it up. He started working out, and he was looking good. And I don't know what happened. I think he needed a surgery on a part of his colon. They were resecting it or something like that. I think he got a stomach bleed, and then he somehow went into cardiac arrest. So, Uncle Vinny, we miss you. And my cousin Lisa, that's his daughter, we're like a year apart. So she called me and told me. But yeah, crazy. My father outlived everyone, really. If you think about it, he was the oldest of all the brothers. Like I said, his sisters are a lot younger, so.
Big family.
Yeah, they had 7 kids.
Very well, fertility.
Yeah, and my grandmother, she started like when she was 17 too. You know how the Italians.
Yeah.
Then she took a break, and then because she had old boys, she thought that was it. Then she's like, I want to try for a girl. She was like older at that point.
That's funny. My uncle had all girls and then added boys. They took a break. Isn't that funny?
It is pretty funny. Italians can do that. They can get away with that. All right. That's it. Let's wrap it up. Till next week, guys. Remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
the truth hurts.
Good night, everyone.